Tyler Buchner committed to Alabama on Thursday, so what happens now? The dust is kind of settled. We understand Tyler Buchner is going to be in that quarterback room in Tuscaloosa with Jalen Milroe and with Ty Simpson. What happens next? Well, let's unpack it. Before we get to that, though, let's talk about some of the storylines surrounding this conversation, because I think there's a couple of misconceptions. The first is that, hey, it was Bama far and away. Nobody else was even close. I was told by someone relatively close to that situation that Auburn actually had a visit on the books. A Zoom visit, but a visit nonetheless. They were going to have their chance with Tyler Buchner. The other piece that I think is probably a little bit too loud on the volume knob right now around Tyler Buchner and his whole decision to go to Alabama was that Tommy Rees made this happen. Tommy Rees decided, hey, I want Tyler Buchner, so he went out and got him, and that was the end of the deal. I would say a version of that could potentially be true, that Tyler Buchner and Tommy Rees have history. I said it in a previous video when the news broke, and we were live on air, actually, which was phenomenal. I said that Tommy Rees got his guy. I think that's still true. But after further review, I think we probably all a little bit got out in front of our skis. You don't get to go to Alabama unless the GOAT signs off on you. So yes, Tommy Rees, I think, is comfortable with Tyler Buchner. I think he's excited about getting Tyler Buchner. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if Tommy Rees spoke up and said, I want Tyler Buchner. But Tommy Rees has a lot of pull, I'm sure, but I think Nick Saban ultimately signing off is what got this done. You don't get to Alabama unless Nick Saban wants you on your football team. Okay, so that's all kind of something we got to preface this whole conversation with. So really quickly, though, Alabama fans, make sure you're subscribed. We're going to talk a lot about your Tide, I promise you. So subscribe to the On3 YouTube channels. We talk college football here every single day. Also, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram at JDPakel. So what do we have now in Tuscaloosa? I think it's pretty obvious. We have a very real quarterback battle. There's a segment of the population that believes Tyler Buchner was brought in to be your starting quarterback. I believe he was brought in to have a chance to be your starting quarterback, but we probably all can agree that you don't get any handouts to Alabama. I don't think this quarterback battle is going to be any different. Tyler Buchner will get a fair shake, but that's about it. It is going to be a competition. So the reason why I think maybe Alabama fans should be a little bit more optimistic about this move, on one hand, you're saying, we didn't have the answer in the room. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that is unfortunate. But on the bright side, you can't change what you had in the room outside of going through the portal. So you did that. You did everything you control in terms of getting enough talent in that room. But when I look at the situation right now, you have created a new sense of urgency for that entire quarterback room. And that is going to benefit you in the long run. The reason for that being, now Jalen Milroe is feeling the heat a little bit more. Hey, a new guy's in the room. Clearly, we hadn't done enough, myself and Ty Simpson and the rest of this room, during the spring to make our staff feel extremely confident going forward with one of us as a starting quarterback. So this dude, Tyler Buchner, is here to try and take the job that I want. Same thing can be said for Ty Simpson. You can have the same perspective. So what does that mean? It means I need to get to it. I need to grind. I need to elevate my game. Competition, iron sharpens iron, all that, it all applies here. So you're going to get, in theory, the best version of Ty Simpson, the best version of Jalen Milroe, and the best version of Tyler Buchner. And so whichever one of these guys is able to bring the best version of himself to the battle, and whichever one of these guys is able to have the competitive stamina and competitive excellence to win the job, that's going to be your starting quarterback. Tyler Buchner was brought in to compete. He was not brought in to just be tossed the keys to the offense and to have Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson hold a clipboard. I still think there is a very real chance that Jalen Milroe could be your starting quarterback for game 1 in Tuscaloosa. A chance. I did not call my shot. I'm just saying there's a very real chance. We will call our shot, though, as the season gets closer. Another reason for you to be subscribed. What I was told about this situation as a whole with bringing in Tyler Buchner was Alabama, and this is how it was described to me, Alabama is looking for their Stetson Bennett. Again, that's how it was described to me. Alabama Crimson Tide fans, you probably just grimaced a little bit hearing his name. That's fine. But the sentiment is you want to bring in a guy who's going to play mistake-free football and just keep this car on the road. Because Alabama, as much as people want to pretend like they're in a bad spot, they're really not. It's Alabama. Look at how they've recruited. Look at the guys they have on their roster. Maybe by Alabama standards, not up to par for what you've had previously. but there's still a lot to work with here. And so what I'm trying to say is whoever plays quarterback for Alabama, you're driving a nice car. And we're asking you not to crash it. That's your responsibility if you're the starting quarterback at Alabama in 2023. Now, the mission a season ago for Bryce Young, that was different. And he had been in the saddle a little bit longer, had a Heisman Trophy to his name, so he probably had a little bit more freedom within that offense, and the offense was geared more to go through Bryce Young. That's not going to be the approach for Tommy Rees in this offense. That's just not going to be what it is. So what I'm trying to tell you is however we gauge performance with these guys, how this staff, I believe, is going to gauge performance with these guys going into fall camp will be eliminating bad plays. Nick Saban said as much in a press conference after A-Day, and I believe that's why you brought in a Tyler Buchner. Comfortable with the system, comfortable with Tommy Rees. You expect that his time in this system will lead to him being able to avoid the negative play. Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, they have a chance to improve now. They have a chance to go into fall camp and into the summer and just attack it. And they have a chance, absolutely, to still win this job. But evidently, by nature of bringing a guy like Tyler Buchner, they hadn't seen enough of what they had wanted from that group just yet. But again, I'm telling you, I think the competition, the sense of urgency, all that, it's going to bring the best out of whoever's supposed to be your starting quarterback at Alabama. If you don't have a guy in that room that can win a competition, that folds under the competition of a quarterback battle, you don't want him to be your starting quarterback anyway. So that's, again, another reason why you need to have this battle bring out the best in yourself if you want to be the QB1 at Bama. So here's what I would say. Here's the real challenge for Tyler Buchner. And I said it on our live show. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss when we do go live. For Tyler Buchner, he's obviously a good enough football player. Otherwise, Nick Saban and Tommy Rees would not have brought him in. He has some physical tools. He's a good runner, a small sample size. He's had some good games where he's been a good passer. The key for me is, does he win over the locker room? And I said the exact same thing when we were on the air on Thursday, but does he win over this locker room? Because Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, to my understanding, based on people close to that operation, have told me they have the locker room. That's not to say Tyler Buchner can't win over the locker room as well, but whoever ends up being your starting quarterback at the University of Alabama, you can be the quarterback, but you better also be the guy. We better rally around you when it's 4th and 1 and we got to get a first down to win the game. You got to be the guy that we trust in the foxhole. And to be real, Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe, they've gone through winter conditioning. They've gone through the grind of spring practice. They've paid their dues with this locker room. Tyler Buchner now has 4 months to prove that he is the best option for you, yes, on the field, but also that he can be the guy in the foxhole that you want in that locker room as well. I have no reservations about Tyler Buchner being able to do that. I'm just saying the task before him is pretty large, and the window he has to accomplish that task is a little bit smaller than you would prefer. But with all that being said, again, whoever wins this job, I promise you, it will be because they thrived in the competitive setting. And that's the same competitive setting that you need your quarterback to thrive in when it comes to a real game in the fall. I really, really believe this is going to bring the best out of Jalen Milroe. I'll say that again. His physical tools, this competitive atmosphere, I think it's going to bring the best out of him. And I cannot wait to track this quarterback battle well into fall camp, well into, I would imagine, pretty close to game 1. Should be an absolute blast. We'll keep you in the know here, I promise you. Make sure you're subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. We talk about ball here every single day on the Hard Count, live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on the gram, @JDPakel. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of the Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.